Okay, it's now 8 minutes past 8 from the Darling Station with the Live 2.5 FM. Welcome to the discussion segment of the morning flight. My name is Temitope Babalola.
And I am Tolulope Ogun.
Okay, now this is the discussion segment. As you all know, every Wednesday we engage our guest analysts on the review of stories that made the headlines in the From the Daily segment this long morning. Our guest analyst is none other than Mr. Bayo Ogundimu. Thank you so much, a public affairs analyst and an administrator. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you and good morning to Tope and to you and to those people in the studio.
You know, the expression on your face shows that you are ready to fire on all available cylinders this morning. Your face reminds me of our daddies when when we were kids back then. They tell you that, did you read over the night? You know, that expression on the face that I'm ready to go into this examination all night. I'm ready to answer all these questions this morning.
What we have been doing for quite a while, and when you get to business, the best thing to do is to engage yourself fully in the business.
When you're in Rome.
I mean, there is no hiding place again. I'm here in the studio, and I'm sure you are ready to fire from all cylinders, both yourself and Tolu. So,
right, left, and center as well.
Well, God will assist us.
Okay, let's set the ball rolling this morning. And with this team, as if that Vice President Kashim Shettima has declared that Nigeria is ripe for investment, citing the economic reforms of President Bola Tinubu's administration as a major boost to investor confidence and the national business climate. President Shettima remarks on Tuesday during the courtesy visit by a delegation from the Islamic Development Bank (ISDB), led by the head of its regional hub in Abuja, Mr. Ahmad Undao, at the State House of Abuja, said it is an exciting opportunity to invest in Nigeria. An exciting opportunity to invest in Nigeria?
Yes, I was going to pick that as an exciting opportunity to invest in Nigeria. Well, we'll see how exciting it is going to be. Well, the economy is still not in a very good. We'll see that for us to develop economically, there is sincerely the need for investments, and it has to be an all-round thing. The business climate now, I don't know uh, how positive it is in terms of what the vice president was saying there. In the actual sense, when you look at so many parameters to say that the climate is okay and all of that people can come and invest. We first ask ourselves, those who were around before, like the Michelin and some other companies like that, how and why did they leave? They left because one, the energy sector was not okay then, and it's still not okay. So when you are coming to invest, you first look at it. Are we going to have stable electricity supply? Do you know how much a liter of diesel is sold now? So if somebody is coming to invest and is thinking of, and there is no regular power supply, the person has to spend a larger chunk of whatever he has that he wants to put in the investment to buying diesel to power the company and all of that. So I don't think the climate is actually clearer in terms of what the vice president is saying. But you don't expect anything less because it's a policy statement. These are speeches that will be beautifully presented, beautifully worded. It may be very good in content, but in the act of facing the truth, it might not necessarily be what you can share. That's one. Two, you also have to look at the security aspects. The security situation in the country is still not in the best of form, and this cuts across all the states of the federation. There's the fear of kidnapping, there's the fear of the bandit attack, and all of that.
Boko Haram,
the slashes and all of that. So, and these are things that the investors will have to look at. When we come, are we going to have that ease of investing? Are we going to have electricity supply? Are we sure that when the expatriates come around, they won't be kidnapped to the extent that now ransom will be demanded for and all of that. So I think yes, we need investment. There's no doubt about that. You find the avalanche of unemployed graduates now, and you find also that say we are deceiving ourselves that government cannot employ everybody. So we need the private sector inclusion and all of that. So, but you see, even those in Nigeria who are Nigerians are not willing to do that. Talk of yes, it is good to want to have that kind of a dream, but it's also good when you have dreams, you have to look for means and ways through which those dreams can be achieved. That's the way I see it.
Okay, so moving on to another this headline. State government now assures its liquidity, pay 32% debt. The Vice President Kashim Shettima has said that following the series of reforms and undertaken by the present administration, state governments now have plenty of funds at their disposal. The Vice President spoke through the Special Advisor to the President on Economic Affairs at an occasion in Abuja on Tuesday, also announced that the state government have paid 32% of global debt that they owe.
Well, I'll take that with a pinch of salt. Yes, debts are being paid and all of that. There are other areas where you find that the states are not actually doing enough. Let's take the issue of pensioners and payment of gratuities. Uh, I have a friend who retired almost about, I think, 15 years ago, and he just got his pension maybe sometime, maybe late 2023.
So, for
His gratuity rather. Sorry, thank you for that something. And by the time he collected the money, I mean, it was not
The value.
the value was not anything to write home about. The only thing his gratuity could buy was a second hand car. Somebody who had worked and toiled for the state. So if the government is saying that yes, the vice president is giving us that information, then we need to also sit down and look at infrastructural development all over the state. The state of infrastructure is still in the state of worry. You go around. Let's take our state for example, without without trying to cast aspersions on the government. Those things are still not okay. And I feel that before the vice president should come out to say that, he must be sure of his facts. He must be sure that yes, when I want to go from Olomore where I reside, I can move freely without encountering potholes on the roads. I'm not talking of roads, roads that
within the
are managed
states.
by within the state. So people who are toiled and worked for the country and who are some of them are suffering. And I would say majority of them. And I think it was only recently that the pension was increased in the state maybe by 20,000 naira. My
I
my
think the list is now 30,000.
30,000 naira. Now we look at the present state of our economy. How can somebody survive with just 30,000 naira and all of that? But yes, give it to the state government that pensions are being paid regularly. I think they even the pensioners also take their salaries when the regular workers are being paid. But the fact remains that this thing is not enough. Our infrastructures are still in a very terrible state today, and they give reasons for one to now look at what the vice president is saying in terms of
Reality.
the reality. The reality is just not there. But you see, uh, government functionaries will come, make statements, read speeches, but those of us who will understand very well will now look at it, analyze it very well. But I think at the end of the day, I want to disagree with the vice president on that assertion.
Okay, quickly, still on economy this morning. Sometimes when you hear billions of dollars, what will always go on in your mind? And to take me to this next story, taken from the Nigerian Tribune with this headline: Nigeria needs $10 billion annually for stable electricity. And this is according to the minister. The Minister of Power, Chief Adebayo Adelabu, stated that for Nigeria to achieve functional, reliable, and stable electricity, the country requires no less than $10 billion annually for the next 10 to 20 years. So the minister stated this during the commissioning of the 600 kilowatts and 3 megawatts solar PV power plant at the Nigerian Defense Academy in Kaduna on Tuesday. Noted that there are foundational bottlenecks that have been experienced in the past, which must be addressed for this level of investment to be meaningful. Now, for this to be meaningful, $10 billion annually for the next 10 to 20 years, can this help in providing long-awaited solution to adequate power supply in our dear country, Nigeria?
Let us look at it this way, Doctor. If you are asking if it can help to address, the first you have to also how do we research a fund annually for the that's why if the Prime Minister is saying that there were fundamental functional problems, are they just existing? How we have had a lot of these things in the past, and I don't know if how $10 billion
That's about
every year
Every year.
for 10 years. That is a tall dream.
16
That
trillion thereabout.
that is an utopia. It's an utopia. What is how okay? It's not only for the minister to say we need this. I think he should also have gone ahead to tell us how, based on his professional quality, we can raise that kind of
Mouse.
amount annually without addressing some other things, and we now there. How are we sure that even if the money is raised, it's going to be spent for that purpose,
Judiciously.
and we are going to have results for that purpose too? So Nigeria is a funny country, and government functionaries will just come out and talk the way they like. I don't think this is it. You see, let us decentralize this thing. Let each state or each region be allowed to
Direct
generate
and distribute.
and distribute, and you will see that this thing will be okay. Are you going to say that even power generation and supply is adequate now? How much is the government spending presently in doing that, and how has the government been able to source for that fund?
Fund.
But for those who are using prepaid meters, I pity those, because the supply has been quite erratic. You have it for 5 minutes, it is off. Another 5 minutes, it comes, and all of that.
And until tomorrow again.
So what are we talking about? At the end of the month, those with estimated building will have such a humongous billing to. But uh, go to area like Obantoko, they can't tell you that you think if they are still part of this country, Nigeria. They don't have electricity. They don't have it. I know. I work in Funab, and a lot of our staff in play. So we raise $10 billion every year
Yeah.
for 10 years. Arriving at that figure, we need to know it's pure utopia. It's a dream.
And when moving into education, federal government integrates AI into curriculum, writes the nation. The federal government has announced the integration of artificial intelligence AI in curriculum delivery, saying it was committed to delivering inclusive, future-ready education. The Minister of Education, Dr. Olatunji Alausa, said this in Abuja on Tuesday, also announced the target of integrating 10 million out-of-school children by 2027 as offshoots of education reforms initiative of the federal government under the hope of quality basic education program supported by the World Bank, the Global Partnership for Education, and the Nigerian Education Sector Renewal Initiative. AI integration into our school curriculum.
Well,
Is
we have not integrated AI into the curriculum. We are experiencing what we are experiencing now. I laugh when I see this gigantic dream being real out by government. When power for all by the year 2000, health for all, housing for all by the year 2000, and we were thinking that that year 2000 will never come, and we were looking for, we were looking up to that millennium, yes, that we are getting into the millennium and all of that. Alas, we got into the millennium, and
25 years into it right now.
there's still nothing to really write home about. Well, artificial intelligence, I would say, in several cases now, has made people to be very, very lazy. At times, there was a time when one of our chiefs died in our church, and I was reading condolences. I was reading condolence messages, and I was just smiling. People are not using their brains again. A lot of people just copied what AI gave to them and brought it into the church platform, and
Hook, line, and sinker.
And you see the similarities in all of these messages. So for any discerning person,
Mind.
you will know that I would mind. Thank you. For any
It's
discerning
coming from
mind,
the
you will
same
know that
source.
this thing is something that has been generated through artificial intelligence. We are not using our brains again. Now, today's students are so lazy to the extent that 2 3 lines they cannot even pick their books and read. And now you now want to integrate artificial intelligence into the curriculum. Then where are we heading? That is one. Two, look at the recently released JAMB results. Look at the open, look at the abysmal performance. Out of 1.9, 1.5 had less than 200. Now you now look at it, then you ask yourselves, we ask ourselves, where is the reading culture? Where is the minister came out to say yes, it was because of the measures put in place to check exam malpractices and all of that. It goes beyond that. It revealed a lot of things that is happening in the education sector. It tells us that these youngsters are not reading the game. They are not, exploiting the opportunities that who are which library
They don't exist.
which library then the libraries do
They
exist,
but people
do still
don't
exist in some schools. In my school, a set gave a library worth about 40 million naira to the school.
Yes.
And it was stocked with books by the old students association.
And they are still brand new right now.
Of course, you then you
child will go there to read. They are no longer reading. So
what read what?
they have
When they have their sets, they can do a lot of exploitation on the sets and do a lot of evil on the something. We are just putting ourselves into the grave. Little by little, artificial intelligence, then somebody will have done all the thinking for you. Just go there, pick it, and you say it is your even researches these days. Yes, researches these days are not done through pure
Thinking.
diligence or thinking. Just go to AI, type whatever you are looking for, and the whole thing is brought to you, and you copy it verbatim.
To give you the outline,
Everything.
synopsis.
See the way these white men are thinking. Why is it difficult for us to also come up with something that will make our lives better? Artificial intelligence, well, to say it is the in thing now, but let's see how it goes. But I don't think it is going to help our education sector in a positive way. No, it's not going to be.
Okay, this is OGBC 90.5 FM. We open the phone lines after the short break to take your calls, your suggestions as well this lovely morning as we continue. One morning flat. Stay with us.
Living at the facilities.
Lines. Here comes our first caller joining us this morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen of the press.
Good
Good
morning,
morning,
sir.
sir.
Thank you very much. Am I hearing the voice of Bayo Ogundimu?
Yes, it's my voice, sir. Good morning, sir.
Loud and clear.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
I wanted to opt out from being a member of the gentlemen of the press.
No, sir. I'm still part of you, sir.
Please. That our politicians would always like to sing the song that their upline will be interested in. I don't know if you understand what I mean.
Yes, sir.
by
Yes,
saying
sir. Yes, sir.
people will want to sing the song that
The
their
masters
bosses
will be pleased with.
whether there is reality in it or not. Translate $10 billion to naira and let me know what.
I think we have done that.
I will say it maybe around 16 to 17 trillion.
Trillion naira per year.
Okay.
And we need that for the next 10 years.
To 20, sir, if possible.
Now, is the minister telling us that well, 50% of the annual budget of this country will now be devoted to power generation or power supply?
That's why I say, sir, that as an accountant, he should have also gone ahead to tell us how this is going to be realized. And I mean,
You see, that's part of the reason I said our people would like to sing the songs that will interest their upline. That's just for that. And look at what the vice president said again. Is there clarity in that? Is there clarity in that? Is there reality in that? Well, killed by Boko Haram
insurgents.
I think it's only yesterday or day before yesterday.
2 days ago.
And do you see a reasonable investor bringing his investment
To Borno State.
is people who would do the investment to that kind of a place?
Or maybe Borno State will be isolated.
Is there no insurgents in other states of the country? I mean, in other states recently, who is yet to be there. And when insecurity is involved, no investor would like to come.
Thank
We
you
are
very
only
much.
deceiving ourselves. We are only singing the songs that our bosses would like to hear. And say, yes, we are working.
Thank you so much, sir.
Face reality in this country. Good morning. My name is Wole Owoshin. I called from Idaho.
Thank you
you
so
very
much,
much,
sir.
Thank you so much. So, Mr. Ogundimu, let's quickly go to the security that Elder Washington just touched on right now to the Senate. And this story is from the nation. The upper chamber of the National Assembly, the Senate, on Tuesday called for urgent deployment of adequate troops to the northeast to tackle resurgence of terrorist activities in Borno and Yobe State. And moving forward to the next chamber of the National Assembly, which is the Green Chamber, the House of Representatives, the Speaker, the Right Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, has warned that Nigeria's porous borders expose the country to external threats from the West African region, underscoring the urgent need for stronger national cohesion and coordinated security efforts. Coordinated security
Well,
efforts.
the issue of deployment of troops, I think is long overdue. And when you talk about the porosity of our borders, you ask the question: are those borders are they just existing? Have they not been there before? Don't we have immigration officers that are expected to man all these borders and all of that? Tope, the simple thing is that these people will come in once they are able to pay their ways in. You know what I'm saying? An average public servant or civil servant in Nigeria is also ready to do anything to line his
His
or her
pockets.
pockets, and it's not limited to anywhere. It is everywhere. It's something that is so brazen that you see it. Well, Borno State is gradually at
The
the
better.
bottom. Yes.
Hello, good morning. Good
Good
morning,
Good
morning.
morning,
Mama.
Auntie. Auntie, good morning. How are you? It's been quite a while. Yes.
Hmm. The program. Amen.
Thank you
Thank you
very
so
much,
much.
ma'am.
Mr. Ogundimu, you respond to this after the show.
Good morning, sir.
SN number 2.
It is well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Okay, we can.
Well, thank you
yes.
very much, Elder. You are always on point, and I don't expect anything less from you. Each time I come here, I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you so much, sir. That's why I said that thing said by the Minister of Power is an utopia, is a dream, and it's just a way of deceiving ourselves. I look while you were talking, I was in most cases, all homes now, almost all homes will provide their water. If you don't have a well or you don't have a borehole, forget it. You don't have electricity. When we were much younger, we knew of ECN, Electricity Corporation of Nigeria,
Okay.
later transformed into NEPA. Later we had CACN, and now we have all the distribution agencies and companies. Now, even at that, we are not. We cannot say that you can have a 24/7 electricity
Guarantee.
guaranteed for a week in this country, talk less of a month. So all these things are utopia, and I said it that we do not have the analysis. How can the minister just come up and say we need $10 billion every year to? I mean, we have been talking about improving electricity supply in this country. Successive ministers have also been coming to say this is what we need and all of that. Is it since all this while funds were not being provided into that area, so it's an utopia, and we cannot, like Elder Bao said, we can't take it hook, line, and sinker.
Okay. Here comes another call.
Hello, good morning. Good morning,
Good
sir.
morning.
Good morning.
Oh, I got there. I think,
Yes, you see, it boils down to what we have been saying, what we have been arguing since the commencement of this program. And let me go quickly to what he or like this said. You look at all those things. Rossi was saying schools should ensure that they put a lot of things in place. Schools that know that
Exposure
their
to
students
officer and all
will
sorts.
sit for jam and all of that. And I want to say that Rotty, you know that you cannot leave all things entirely in the hands of the school. You and I grew up together, and you know what our parents were doing then. All the efforts that these days some parents their efforts are misplaced. We have heard of cases, we have heard of instances where parents will go to school and beat teachers because their children were scolded or punished and all of that. So it's a two-way thing, and I will even say it's a three-legged thing. The school,